Today I'm going to be demoing the proper use of the Fletcher vertical cutter that's in the Digital Checkout Studio. If you need to cut a board down, this is your machine. You don't want to use the horizontal bevel mat cutter. So if you're cutting down gator board or something that's really thick foam core, or standard thickness foam core, or mat board, just regular old mat board, or any illustration board, any kind of board that you want to cut down. That thick watercolor board that we assign in media class that nobody can cut with an X-Acto, this is your machine. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start with something nice and thick. I'm going to start with this really thick board. Before you start using this cutter, keep a couple things in mind. It's a really sharp blade in this machine, and students aren't authorized to change it. If you need to change the blade, check with one of the student workers in the studio and they'll be sure to help you out. Using the vertical cutter is very simple. You simply place your board on to this bar and slide it in place. Make sure your board is sticking out the other side or you won't be able to cut. Line up your board with the ruler on the left-hand side. I'm going to go ahead and choose 11 inches for this cut. The next step is to grab this T-bar, the locking T-bar, and just lift it up into position. It should hold your board securely so it doesn't move. If you forget this step, your board's going to wobble and you could end up with a mess. If you just grab this handle and crank it straight up, you're going to smash into your board and leave a dent. Also, you'll wonder why the cutter head isn't going anywhere. You need to depress the lever on the right. This tiny little lever right there. It goes down. The head pivots back. The blade is no longer going to contact the board. You want to lift the cutter head past your board. Overkill if you need to. Lift it up, get it out of the way, then let go of that lever. Now you're ready to cut. If you forget what you're doing at this point, you could damage your board. Just remember, when you pull down, you're doing your cut. On really thick board like this, you'll notice the foam board isn't going anywhere. Repeat the cut. Depress the lever, lift it up into position, let it go, and pull straight down. Now you should have a little scrap piece of board. Now, I know you guys tend to forget about cleaning up after yourselves because mom's not here, so don't just throw that aside. You want to neatly put it aside and put it in the trash can on your way out the door. Unlock your board, pull it out. You may want to actually check your measurement to make sure it's accurate. If it's accurate, flip your board, lock it into position, and do your cut again. Thinner boards, like mat board, work the same way. You slide them into position, lock the bar. Notice the bar goes a little higher because the board is thinner. Depress the lever, go to the top, let the lever go, and do your cut. This time your scrap should pop out on the first go. If you don't get a clean cut or your piece of board doesn't pop off, ask the student worker in the studio to change the blade and that should solve your problem. If that still doesn't work, check your settings. Make sure everything is secure. Make sure that when you're cutting that you're pulling down nice and even. If that still doesn't work, the last little trick is push down with your thumb. Lift the lever up, get past your board. When you go to pull down, lift up with your thumb on the lever on the right. A little bit of pressure up with your thumb and your board will pop free. That'll work 99% of the time.